What's up guys, Xell here, and today I've got another gameplay video, this time featuring Enel versus Sakazuki. Enel got some major upgrades in EB01. I know in 06 it kind of took a backseat, but it is back stronger than ever in EB01, and it's only going to get stronger from here with 07 right around the corner. So what makes Enel so strong? Well, his leader ability is super obnoxious. Basically says that you can't die unless they have multiple swings against you. Enel has more tools than ever to control the board. And so the deck list that I'm running today is one that I found on One Piece Top Decks, and this list runs so much removal. It's got 4 Gedatsu, 4 Yamato, 4 Katakuri, 4 Kingdom Come, 3 rejects, and even has some of the trigger removal cards like Onami. Like, the whole point of this deck is just to out-resource you, force you to not be able to deal with the Enel leader ability, and take over with just giant bodies on board like the Yamato, like the Katakuris, and eventually take the game in the late game. And my friend will be playing the Stage Sakazuki, which is a list that I think at this point a lot of people are familiar with. And yeah, Enel into Sakazuki is actually not a great matchup, but I think that it's pretty close. Any deck that has 8-cost Moria, it means that they can just spam the board in a moment's notice, and that's really bad for Enel. That said, Enel has plenty of tools to fight back, and we're going to see it in this video, so hope you guys enjoy it. Before we get started, if you want to support the channel, leave a like, comment something silly, subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot. It helps with the algorithm. If you want to go the extra mile, you can also check out the coffee. If you guys want to check that out, go ahead to the link. It'll be in the description. But yeah, let's get started. All right, so pre-game, we decided that Enel would be going second. I won the dice roll, which is really good for me here. Sakazuki always wants to go second, and especially the stage version, I think. Sakazuki just being able to go second is really nice. And so, yeah, look at that. Sakazuki ability coming in clutch, being able to play the Tashigi and get something going right off the bat here. My friend Tora is going to go ahead and search the top 5. And is going to go ahead and grab the Hina. You know, Sakazuki always wants to spend his early turns just assembling the combos that he's going to need for the late game. He's going to pass the turn over to Enel. Enel doesn't really have very good early cards to play out. You know, you're not going to play out an Onami. Enel doesn't run searchers because most of the searchers are not really relevant for Enel, right? Like, your top end is not searchable in this deck. It's actually one of the things that makes Enel a little bit less consistent than I think some of these other decks. But that said, we're gonna go ahead and pass it to Sakazuki. But that said, Enel just, you know, has so much top end that eventually you're gonna get there, and so much draw power anyways. Sakazuki is gonna go ahead and discard T-Bone, draw a card, play out another Tashigi. Going to just search another top 5, see what he can find here. Gonna go ahead and grab the Ama no Murakumo sword. Very good card, just is able to get a lot of value, you know, just through the bottom decking. And then we're gonna go ahead and start swinging 6 at Enel. Enel's just gonna go and take basically everything down to 1 life. Just wants to play a big hand. And Sakazuki with the remaining Dawn is going to go ahead and play the stage. So Sakazuki just going to set up for these initial turns. And yeah, Enel going to go ahead and swing 5. Sakazuki takes. And with the 4 Dawn, going to go ahead and play Kikunojo. Kikunojo is really annoying for a lot of decks to deal with, not so much for Sakazuki. Like, here, Sakazuki already has the stage out. With leader, like, we know that Okiku is going to take the hit here, but that's okay. We are going to need Sakazuki to use removal anyways, so might as well be on the Okiku, so not a big deal. Sakazuki on the 5 Dawn turn. Generally speaking, 5 Dawn is usually like a Hina Houndblaze angle, but doesn't need to play the Hina here because already have stage out, so we'll see what Toro wants to do with his 5 Dawn. Gonna start things off by using leader ability, discarding that Ama no Murakumo sword, draw another card. It looks like he picked up a Helmeppo. And then yeah, gonna go ahead and start swinging 5 question mark. Oh, yeah. Still deciding what to do here. Okay, in the end, does decide to swing 5, and like I said before, now just gonna go ahead and take things. Picked up a beige. That's unfortunate. Didn't get it at like a last life, but still good as a 2K. It's what makes beige such a ridiculous card. It's a 2K and just has one of the best triggers in the game. And yeah, now we see Okiku getting bottom decked by the Houndblaze. We knew this would happen, and this sets up yet another 5K swing for Sakazuki here. Gonna swing with the Tashigi. Just gonna go ahead and take yet again. And now we're down to that 1 life. So here, Sakazuki does not want to go and just randomly swing into that last life. Generally speaking, you don't want to... Yeah, see, I disagree here. I probably would not swing 5 at the Enel here because it just gives Enel an opportunity at another trigger and just gets to filter out his hand here. So it's awkward. It sucks that you had 3 down left for no reason, but it's fine. So anyways, gonna go ahead and discard the Shirahoshi. Shirahoshi, again, a card that's very good against certain decks, just not good against Sakazuki. It's basically just a 1K here. So might as well go ahead and discard that. Enel now at 6 Dawn. You can see 5 Dawn being put aside, so probably going to be a Gidatsu. Fortunately, doesn't have a great Gidatsu target here, but it's fine. Just going to lay on more pressure. 6K swing into Sakazuki's life. I think there's a certain amount of merit to playing full starve against Sakazuki, because if you keep him at 4 life, your Gidatsus, you know, will always KO the 4 costs, and Sakazuki is a deck that mainly relies on the 4 costs, so keeping them there can be really beneficial. But yeah, we see 2 cards being tossed there for the 6K swing, which already put Sakazuki down on cards. Maybe just doesn't... You can see Gidatsu specifically targeting the alt art because, you know, we want to commit that mental damage. But yeah, very interesting choice to go ahead and use 2 1Ks there instead of just taking that hit. Maybe you're scared about potential rush cards with 5 Dawn there. 5 Dawn nowadays can represent ace as well, and ace is that 7K swing, so figures probably just to stay a little bit safer from that. Sakazuki at the 7 Dawn turn. 7 Dawn, I think, again, ideally you want to play something like 7 cost Borsellino, but we'll see what Tora has in store for us here. All right, Tora's gonna go ahead and put 1 Dawn onto Sakazuki. Swing 6 at lead, shrinking Gidatsu. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and use that to filter my hand yet again, get rid of that Okiku, which is basically useless in this, because we're really not scared. If Sakazuki ends up spending the rest of his 6 Dawn onto his Tashigi, like, he just loses too much, right? So no reason to be scared of that. Instead, going to play the Hina, going to shrink the Gidatsu down, and we're going to get another Houndblaze. And with the Houndblaze pumped up Tashigi, gonna go ahead swing 6. We're gonna go ahead and give him that Hiyori 2K. We want to stay at 1 life so that we can continue to abuse the leader ability. Yeah, just have the Hina on board here. Now gonna go up to 8 Dawn. You can see here right now, like, as Enel, you just have so many cards in hand, and we're just bleeding Sakazuki dry, which is our goal, essentially. Like, if Sakazuki's hand is small, it means it's harder for them to put together the big combos that they need to be relevant in this matchup. But yeah, we're gonna go and start 6 at lead. Just gonna go ahead and take. And then with the rest of the 7, we've got Charlotte Linlin. Really annoying card. Just super high value. And here, Sakazuki has to kind of give the Enel life because Enel really isn't under any threat right now, and with that many cards in life, like, I feel like trashing a life is just so scary, right? And against the yellow deck, especially right now when reject exists, like, I just think it's too much trouble. So I imagine that Tora is going to go ahead and give Enel the life. And with that, pass the turn. Okay, now we're getting into the big boy turns for Sakazuki. 9 Dawn is still a little awkward, but at least now Sakazuki can use the 9 Dawn for a Moria, which is going to be the center point of this matchup, as it is with most Sakazuki matchups. But Moria, you know, just is able to go wide super quick onto the Enel, and that is problematic for Enel. The more Morias, the more better, and yeah. So the question is now, what are we gonna do with that remaining Dawn? So for right now, it looks like we're just gonna start with a 5K swing at leader. Thinking the mom. Just gonna go ahead and take it. Oh, we got the Onami trigger. Really annoying. Pop Sahina. So now we know that our life is safe. Sakazuki does not run rush cards, although it would be kind of funny to run a rush Usopp. I've always thought about that, like, because people know that Sakazuki never runs a rush card. You know, they play as if he'll never rush you down, but it'd be kind of funny to just run it as a surprise. But I think in general, you just got better options. So we've rested 8. I think it's time for the Moria to come on down. The water's fine. And yeah, Moria gonna go ahead and be played. And let's see what we've got cooking in the yard here. Honestly, not a lot of cards. Without any brand news to help feed the trash, I feel like sometimes the options look a little slim. But yeah, gonna go ahead and grab the Lucci. And then that probably means that the other card is going to be, yeah, the Helmeppo. Helmeppo gonna go ahead, shrink the Linlin down to a 2 cost, and then Lucci will go ahead and do the rest, and we're just gonna bottom those cards that we aren't gonna need anymore. And yeah, here now begins the real battle for Enel. Now, from absolutely nowhere, Sakazuki has a entirely filled board, all ready and primed to eventually swing at Enel's 1 life. So this is where the matchup kind of lives or dies, and we'll see what Enel can do here. But yeah, Tora's still thinking on his search here from Tashigi. Is gonna go ahead and take up the Borsalino. Yeah, I think that's not necessarily a bad pickup. You know, Enel isn't going to flood the board very likely, unless they're the Sky Highland build with the Omen Hollies. And we haven't seen an Omen Holly yet, so probably is okay to go and take the Borsalino, use that to stick another big body against Enel. I think that's powerful. So the question is, how does Enel survive from this point? So Enel gonna go and start things off by swinging 7. Yeah, so Enel swinging 7 at lead, just putting on pressure. Again, Tora doesn't have any blockers here, so I have the free reign to just go ahead and attack life. So interestingly, we're gonna leave 1 Dawn up to go ahead and play the Linlin. And Tora now has to do think heavily here, because if he takes the last life, he has to basically finish out the game right now. And with so many cards in Enel's hand, I think it's just a little too scary. So yeah, he's gonna go ahead and give Enel another life here, which you know, I'm pretty happy about, but I think he's forced to make that decision because it's just too difficult to end the game when you know Enel has so many cards in hand. So this time around, just gonna go ahead and discard the Borsalino. Decides that that's not what we want to do here, especially because we saw, I think it was from Life, Sakazuki picks up another Moria. And again, like I said before, more Morias, more better. You just get to flood the board, get so much value, but now has to figure out how to stay safe, especially with the threat of reject. I think when you're at 1 life, you gotta be pretty scared, honestly, as a Sakazuki player. All right, so first things first, Sakazuki gonna go ahead and swing 5 into the life of Enel. And Nel just gonna go ahead and take, not too fussed about it. And then the question here is, how much Dawn are they gonna allocate to swinging at Enel's last life? Now, technically speaking here, could use every Dawn that they have to just swing a bunch of times at Enel, but I think that's a little risky. So just gonna go ahead and swing the Lucci, get that 2K from Enel. And then, yeah, the 8 Dawn is gonna just go ahead and be used on a Moria, bringing out a Rebecca and a Tashigi. Just big value here. Tashigi gonna go ahead and look at the top 5. Considering his options here. We'll end up taking a Suru. I'm not sure if that's what he he wanted here. But another 2K, you can't complain too much about it. You got to be prepared for, like, you know, reject Amaru. So having that counter power is going to be nice against the Enel. And with the Rebecca ability, going to go ahead and pick up the T-Bone. Again, another 2K. So yeah, Sakazuki kind of forced to have enough counter in case Enel has assembled the God Yellow combo, which is the reject plus Amaru. But my guess is, looking from the board here, what he really wanted to grab was like a shrinker or another bottom deck with Tashigi, because now we see that the Linlin has now stayed on board. So this is where things can get real spicy now. 10 down available and now 2 swings. So theoretically, Enel can just Amaru away the Rebecca. But just gonna go ahead and swing 8 into the Lucci. At this point, Sakazuki has to realize probably doesn't have the Amaru. I don't think I see the Amaru in hand, so yeah, just forced to just do the blank swing. Yeah, gonna go ahead and use the Rebecca to counter out there. Gonna swing 6 into the Rablucci. Just continue to, you know, drain the hand of Sakazuki. And yeah, Yamato comes down. Another big body pops the Tashigi and gains the life, which is the most important part. Sakazuki now still has 3 relevant bodies plus the leader swing, so we're still in a little bit of a tricky position here as the Enel player. Having 2 Moria on board is very, very scary, but luckily, at least as the Enel, we have a lot of life here still, or a lot of cards in hand. And yeah, 5K swing at the at life. And it's gonna be a beige trigger, preventing one of the Morias from attacking. So now lethal is looking again less likely for Sakazuki on this turn. So now we're probably looking at a at another board clear angle. But we know that from last turn that Moria didn't have the pieces to remove everything. So we'll see what he wants to do from here. Gonna start things off with leader ability, discarding a card, drawing a card, discards Kuzan. Probably would have been better earlier on in the game, but now it's kind of hard to get the time and space to play it out now. Rablucci gonna go ahead and swing 6. Enel will probably want to find a 2K to use here, but looking at his hand, does he have a 2K? No. So just gonna go ahead and take the hit and discard a brick Linlin to gain a life. And yeah, one of the Morias is still able to swing in here. So again, a little bit of a signal that maybe not a lot of counter in Enel's hand. And then yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and swing 10K into the Linlin. And then I'm going to use the 0 cost event to save the Linlin there. We've got another Rebecca blocker coming out. What is he gonna do here though? Rebecca is gonna go ahead and grab Hina. So maybe he does have a way to deal with the Linlin here. We're gonna bring out the Sabo instead after bringing the Hina to hand. Sabo really, really annoying, and now at this point Sakazuki is not able to be rejected. And yeah, gonna go ahead and toss 2 Hinas to trash and pass the turn again, just having more and more big bodies stay around for Enel. Again, things are getting pretty spicy here. Just more big bodies are living for both players here. And yeah, 6K swing into the Lucci. Gonna just keep trying to get Sakazuki to use cards from hand here, or just clear the blockers. And yeah, Sakazuki gonna go use that T-Bone, a 2K here, to save the Rob Lucci. And we're just gonna keep swinging away. Make it hard. Either use more and more cards in hand, which it's gonna happen again. Another 3K used in hand, and then blocks the Yamato attack with the Rebecca. And then we're gonna play yet another Yamato, gain another life here. Again, just more and more big bodies. And now just living on forever at that 2 life here. But that said, Sakazuki does have 5 swings available, 10 Dawn to use. The question is this the turn that he goes for it? Enel's hand is finally starting to look human again, you know? Looks like 6 cards in hand. And we are gonna go ahead and start with a 5K swing. Checks the trash, is gonna go ahead and shrink the Yamato this time. This one I'm forced to counter with. Gonna go ahead and use the Shirahoshi for 1K. And then Rob Lucci, gonna go ahead and swing in. Gonna just go ahead and take that. You can see another Yamato in hand. But this time he's gonna go for board here. Very interesting. And yeah, just gonna let that go. You can see in my hand on Enel's side, just not a lot of counter power actually, just a bunch of 1Ks. Okay, Sakazuki gonna go ahead and use another, gonna use the stage to shrink the other Yamato by 1, and now we have another Gecko. Wheesh. The 3rd Gecko, bringing out Rebecca, bringing out the Helmeppo, shrinking the Yamato down to a 5 cost, I believe now. Gonna go ahead and see here, grab the T-Bone, so another 2K to hand. We're gonna play out that Hina, shrink the Yamato down probably to a 1, yeah. And then it's gonna go ahead and bottom deck the Yamato. So, ooh, things are getting spicier and spicier. It's unfortunate, I think, because due to space reasons, had to replace one of the Morias in order to get all the on-play effects. But yeah, we're passing it over to Enel again. Another 6K swing. It's gonna be that T-Bone counter. Yamato gonna swing. And yeah, just the easy block from Rebecca. Just wants to keep as many bodies on board. And here we go, another Yamato. We have the battle of the titans this game. Yamato yet again putting Enel to 2 life. And we're kind of in the same space again, just another 5 swings here. But now I think Sakazuki is a little bit back against the wall here, down to 2 cards in hand. Like at this point, everyone is just so juiced of resources. So with that said, does he have what it takes to finish out the game here? Gonna start things off with a 7K swing at life. It's just gonna take it. It's a Katakuri, which is not what you want to see as the Enel player. So a little bit rough. Now we've got a 9K swing. Gonna go ahead and take. It's a 2K, which is huge. Gonna discard that Katakuri brick from hand to gain that life from Enel leader ability. And we now have another 9K swing here, counting the counter in my hand. Just gonna go ahead and use all the counter I've got. Hiyori, Gedatsu, Onami, Onami. Counters out the 9K hit. 2 cards in hand. We can see here it's 2 Katakuris, so 0 counter power. And all he has left now to swing with is the Sakazuki leader and the Sabo. So the problem with swinging with leader is that if you swing with leader, you open yourself up to Onami. Although we did see that a bunch of Onami did get trashed there, so maybe the likelihood there is not super high. But that said, there's still another Onami. I was mentioning like how many triggers would save me here, because I still have Amaru's, which would be huge here. And then we know that there's still a couple beiges left in the deck. So yeah. Still really stressful here, but the question is just gonna come down to what is the last life in Enel's life. So gonna go ahead and swing 9 with that Sabo. I've got 0 counter power. There's only one thing left to do, which is to take a good look at that last life. We're gonna take a peek. And it's the beige, preventing Sakazuki from swinging here. Tragedy strikes again for Sakazuki. Oh man. And at this point, there's nothing left for Sakazuki to do here but pass. Just has those 2Ks in hand. And we're just gonna go ahead and swing out. No triggers can save Sakazuki.
I can't believe the beige happened. I'm done with this.
You worked 35 minutes for that.
I worked my ass off.
Holy shit.
And
for what?
I worked my ass off.
And for what? Was that worth it? Was that really worth it?
I need help. I want my time back.
Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That was such a crazy game. So much fun. Well, I had a lot of fun. I can't speak for Tora. And again, appreciate you guys watching the video and getting all the way to the end. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good night. Bye.